LaSalle. I've got the news today that Leah's documentary series is now available on Netflix. This is great news. Do you think this reflects the media/Hollywood/entertainment industry moving even further away from Scientology? The disenchantment isn't quite gone from Tom Cruise yet. However, on top of Danny Masterson's recent prosecution, do you think the general view of the Church of Scientology is going in the right direction, exposing their true intentions and negativity? Thanks for the question, Katie. Yes, I absolutely believe that everything has been going in the right direction in terms of the exposure of Scientology for the last 14 years. What was it? 2007, 8, I guess, was anonymous. So maybe the last 12 years. Prior to that, of course, as I've commented many times, it was very, very, very difficult to get anybody to take you seriously or listen to you if you were a Scientology critic. It would be in sensational news stories or news, magazine style TV shows, but that was about it. You couldn't get real hardcore exposure ever since that Time magazine article back in '91, where Richard Behar did such a stand-up job of exposing it all, and then Scientology slapped him with this huge lawsuit. Lost, but ended up costing Time magazine like $300 million or some nonsense. And so journalists wanted to stay away from it. After Anonymous happened, and after the exposure of the Truth Rundown in the St. Petersburg Times, and then the TV shows started, Going Clear came out, and then Scientology in the aftermath. And that whole sequence of events hit the church like Mike Tyson blow to the face. I mean, they had never been hit that hard before, not in the PR front. Not even close. Even as bad as 1970s was. I mean, that was, 50, what is that, 20, 30, 40, 43 years ago is 1977. So, that was a hard hit when they were raided by the FBI. That was devastating, but it didn't destroy Scientology. It didn't destroy its public name. And they somehow, after a couple of years, wangled their way out of that and grew and got bigger than ever. That's not what's happening now. And the exposure has definitely hurt their Hollywood status, specifically, like you asked. And you don't see the movie stars who are Scientologists talking about it at all. Michael Pena, these other guys, Elizabeth Moss, the girl from Orange is the New Black. I mean, none of these guys are talking about it at all. And they get to control the interviews that they're in, so they don't have to, and they don't get asked sharp and pointed questions about it. Certainly, Tom Cruise has 1,000% control over his interviews and the format of them. So he doesn't have to answer any more tough questions about it, and he knows he already just about ruined his career. And that's quite something, for somebody of Tom Cruise's stature as a movie star and producer and I guess studio owner or whatever it is he's doing. When he went all in and all wild on Scientology just prior to all that exposure, and then his video was actually part of the exposure, that turtleneck video. Anyway, when he went all out on that, there was such backlash, such a negative reaction to it. And he had tried to blackmail all the rest of the celebs into doing the same thing he had been doing. And I think they looked at what he was doing and went, yeah, we're not doing that. And, and so now Tom is still, was made to shut the hell up about that. So clearly Scientology does not have the sway that it once held in Hollywood, not even remotely so. And I don't think they're going to get it back because there has been this COVID problem over the last year. And that happened to hit Scientology at exactly the perfect time as a sort of a 1-2 punch to even further reduce their numbers. They had to close their orgs for periods of time because of the lockdowns. And Scientology is all about recruitment through personal contact. The websites, the online stuff is just to whet your appetite and get you in the building so they can sit down with you and make the personal, emotional connection necessary to actually get you on board. You could be recruited online, and that could happen, but not anywhere near in the numbers. That's not going to happen in the numbers that they can get when they are out in the streets, passing out pamphlets, selling books, bringing people in. And that is now made next to impossible because of COVID. So sometimes it happens that we get a fortuitous circumstantial situations, right? Circumstances come together that make it even harder or, better or something. And in this case with Scientology, all that exposure, all those TV shows, books, us coming forward, everything, and then COVID hits, there are very few silver linings to the black cloud of COVID. But this is one of them, is that Scientology has not been able to propagate, has not been able to get out and disseminate their stuff. And so they are suffering as a result. And I couldn't be happier about that.